Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, I'll be going over the Commanders 2025 tight end room currently as it stands, and I'll be talking about who I think will make the roster, how many tight ends I think the Commanders will keep, and what guys they will cut from the room. So, if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications, and with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so right now the Commanders have 7 tight ends on the 90-man roster. Zach Ertz, John Bates, Ben Sinnott, Colson Yankoff, Tyree Jackson, Cole Turner, and Lawrence Cager. So I can guarantee you 3 guys that are locks to make the roster at the tight end position. Zach Ertz, obviously, he's going to be our starting tight end. He was amazing for us last year, had over 650 yards receiving in the regular season, along with 7 touchdowns. He was really good in the playoffs as well, made some big-time grabs. He was one of our only guys who actually stepped up in the Eagles championship game. Ertz had over 100 yards, so he was really good in that game. So Zach Ertz, he was so good with us last year, and the hope was Sinnott develops or shows enough that we wouldn't have to bring back Ertz, but unfortunately, he just didn't show that last year, and part of that is because of how much Ertz gave us last year. I feel like we weren't expecting Ertz to give us as much as he did last year, so we just decided to bring him back, and the hope is Ben Sinnott shows this year that he can be our tight end 1 of the future, and we can move on from Ertz the following season. So Ertz obviously will be on this roster, Ben Sinnott as well, and then John Bates, he was re-signed this offseason before free agency. We gave him a 3-year, $21 million deal, so that's a great deal for Bates. He is one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL. I wanted him back, and I know some fans kind of underrate blocking tight ends, but blocking tight ends do have a role in the NFL, and Bates is one of the best in the NFL right now. So John Bates, obviously, he's going to make the roster as well. So once again, 3 guys at the tight end position are locks to make the roster: Ertz, Sinnott, and Bates. When it comes to the other guys, Cole Turner, Lawrence Cager, Tyree Jackson, don't think those guys can really do enough to make the roster. Specifically Lawrence Cager and Cole Turner. Don't know much about Lawrence Cager. Cole Turner, he was drafted in 2022, obviously by the previous regime, Ron Rivera and them. And we actually had high hopes for Cole Turner, but he just never panned out to be what we were expecting. So there's no way he makes the roster. Maybe he goes back on the practice squad. We'll see, though. Tyree Jackson, I feel like he is a prime candidate to be back on the practice squad because he offers great size at 6'7". I think he's like 240 or 250 pounds. So we don't have a lot of size in our receiver room. I know Zach Ertz is, 6'5", 6'6", so he's tall. But Tyree Jackson, he does offer size. He is a former quarterback, and he was with the Eagles and Giants before he signed with us. So he's been bouncing around the NFC East, and those 2 teams, I'm pretty sure it was the Eagles that transitioned him from a quarterback to a tight end. So he's a tight end now, and he's actually been impressive so far during spring practices, OTAs, and mandatory mini camps. So if he's able to impress some more during training camp and in the preseason, I think a spot for him on the practice squad is there for him. So he's a guy to watch out for sure during training camp and preseason. I think if we keep a 4th tight end, and that's a big if because things change every year when it comes to how many guys you're going to keep on your roster at a certain position, right? Last year we kept 4 tight ends. This year, I want to say we keep 4 tight ends, but I wouldn't be surprised if we kept 3, right? We'll talk about that more in a second. But Colson Yankoff, they kept him last year on the roster. They really like his traits, his athletic tools, and they feel like with more developing, he could become a pretty decent tight end in the league, right? And right now, he's really, really good on special teams. Him, Tyler Owens, Jeremy Reeves, Percy Butler, even. Like, we got some great guys on special teams, man. Like, we have some really good special teams players. Our special teams was one of the best in the NFL last year, and Colson Yankoff was a part of that special teams unit. He obviously got hurt towards the end of the season, I'm pretty sure. I think like week 12 or week 13, if I'm not mistaken. So he didn't play all last year, but when he was out on the field, on special teams, he was really, really good. So they care about the play of guys on special teams. And a guy like Tyler Owens, right? He was amazing on special teams. He showed that in training camp and especially in the preseason, which is why they kept him on the roster, right? So guys who are great on special teams, there's a place for them in the NFL. And Colson Yankoff, he's really good on special teams, which is why I feel like if they keep 4 tight ends, he will be on this roster as our 4th tight end because of how good he is on special teams. All right, so when it comes to how many tight ends we will keep, obviously 3 guys are locks right now to make the roster, and those 3 guys may be the only tight ends we keep on the roster. Obviously, those 3 guys are Zach Ertz, John Bates, and Ben Sinnott. As I mentioned early on in this video, we drafted Sinnott last year. There's no way we're cutting a 2nd round pick. We still have high hopes for Sinnott. I have high hopes for Sinnott still. I think he can be the tight end of the future. He just has to show that he's capable of being that this season with more and more opportunities. John Bates and Zach Ertz, we re-signed both of them. So 3 guys are locks to make the roster at the tight end position. Colson Yankoff will make the roster if we decide to keep a 4th tight end, like I've already said. Now, will we keep a 4th tight end? I'm not sure because we have a lot of depth at other positions, right? And we have to make decisions at how many guys we want to keep at other positions. For example, running back. How many running backs do we want to keep? Do we want to keep 3 or 4 backs, right? If we keep 3, we'll keep Eckler, Brian Robinson, and Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt more likely. If we keep 4, I think the 4th guy will be Jeremy McNichols, right? We'll see, but, it really depends on what we do at other positions, right? How many linebackers will we keep? Will Dominic Hampton make the roster, even with Cam Medrano being drafted? Us re-signing Ballore and McGee, Louvu, Wagner, obviously locks to make the roster. It really just depends on what we do at other positions, like how we decide to manage other positions on this roster by figuring out how many guys we keep at those positions, right? So again, if we keep 3 guys at the tight end position, it'll be Bates, Ertz, and Sinnott. If we keep 4, then I think Colson Yankoff will be that 4th guy. Overall, with the tight end position and how it currently stands, I think we have a very solid tight end room. Ertz was really, really good for us last year. Now, I don't think we can count on getting that same production from him this year because will he play in all 17 games? I'm not sure. We barely eked out a full 17-game season from him last year. So will he play all 17 games this year? We shall see. Excited to see Ben Sinnott, continue to develop with more opportunities this year. And they'll give him more opportunities this year because they need to figure out, and we need to figure out, obviously, as fans as well, if he's actually our tight end of the future, right, once Zach Ertz leaves. Because I think Zach Ertz, after this year, he's gone. He's gone. And if Sinnott performs this year really well, then we got our tight end of the future. We don't have to draft a tight end high in the draft. But if he does not perform, then we will probably have to go out there and draft a tight end in the earlier rounds of the draft, or maybe sign a tight end from free agency, but we shall see. And obviously with John Bates, he is one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, and he got paid this offseason, 3-year deal, $21 million, so that was well deserved. That is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. Comment down below who you think will make the roster at the tight end position and how many guys you think the Commanders will probably keep at tight end. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.